Hey, besties. Let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Shamia, if you ever put me in a position to defend Brit again, I am going to choke you myself. Britt was right 2 times in this episode. And what you were, Shamia, once again, you were passive aggressive, backpedaling, and corny as I don't know what. And Phaedra, you talking about everybody should be donating $1,000. That doesn't even equate to y'all who are wearing, you had on a whole Gucci sweatsuit at the beginning of this episode with the matching shoes. Y'all talking about Birkin bags. Birkin starts at about $10,000-$15,000 for the small one. Britt had a huge Birkin bag. That bag was probably $30,000. And Shamia said, "You drive a Rolls, I drive a Rolls, you drive a Rolls, she drives a Rolls." Well, I'm sorry, but you need to raise the bar up. What is $1,000 for people who are driving Bentleys and Birkin bags and Gucci this and Chanel that? And when was it okay to put people's donations on blast? Nah, Housewives of Atlanta, y'all need to raise the bar. $1,000 is very lowbrow for you ladies. You need to raise the bar up. You know, couple of thousand would be good since you're so rich. Welcome, besties. You are now behind the shade, and thanks for joining me. I recap your favorite reality shows weekly. Now let's kiki and haha and get into another episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 14, chapter 2, Renew. Do we like the title of the episode? We do understand that Kelly's trip is about, what was it? Reset, refresh, renew, revisit, recycle. Re. So we'll, yeah, I think I'll change and make a better thumbnail. You know me. But besties, how about you rate this week's episode? It was, for me, I'll give it a 6. Please drop down in the comments and let me know what you thought of tonight's episode. Please like my video, make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and make sure your notification bell is on, ding dong, so that you know each and every time I post my content. Now, honey, we start the episode. Drew wakes up out of her twin-sized bed and said she slept like a baby. Drew and Portia was having some fun together the night before, so they are, they bridged their friendship and they're having a good time. Portia and Britt did a little retching after dinner the night before, too much. They're both lightweights, but I'm not sure because Portia is a Hennessy girl. So I believe they were taking shots of tequila. And so anyway, Kelly and Shamia, they are in their villa looking out into the beautiful view, and they are ready for the day of renew. And Shamia says, if you can't release things, it's you at this point. Because, they're in paradise. You should want to get along and have a good time. Anybody got time to be out here going back and forth and back again? So Angela's in her room and she's calling Charles because, it's their anniversary, honey. Mr. Oakley is not answering the phone. How embarrassing, Charles. So she covers up for him, saying that he's supposed to be at home cooking for their daughter and blah, 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 blah. I mean, whatever. She got to make it make sense for her, honey. So all the ladies, they meet in Phaedra and Britt's villa for breakfast. Phaedra discovers that Britt doesn't wear underwear. She doesn't wear the bras or the panties, honey. And Phaedra says she would rather not know this about Britt. Then Kelly walks in and she can't believe how small Kelly is and how big her boobs are. And it's like, Phaedra, come on, girl. You are sure taking notes of all this and anatomy of these women. Girl, would you stop? So Cynthia tells Britt to not drink. If you was, retching and throwing up your goodies, why don't you just leave it alone? So Britt says she told them that she doesn't do shots. She said, it's kind of reminds her of college. We're, wives now. We're some of us. It's like, girl, why are you throwing that around? You can tell she's a newlywed because she just has to keep saying husband and wife. And so my thing is, wife, if you don't do shots, then don't do shots. Is that okay? No one is forcing you to. They're doing shots. And normally when people drink, they do want everyone to drink. And it's kind of weird when there's someone like, oh, no, thank you. So it's kind of like, well, what are you going to do? Are you just not doing shots and you prefer to have a cocktail? Well, then do that. Your shot doesn't have to be straight liquor. It can be like you can get a shot, a lemon drop shot. You can get any cocktail as a shot. Oh boy, just stick to wine at this case. Just stick to the wine, girl. Child, Shamia is still pulling out new outfits, honey. She's getting herself together. That carry-on had all kinds of outfits in it, and everybody is amazed. Like, oh, you got that? Oh, you had that packed too? So Shamia says she had 3 outfits packed. So I believe she's on the last one. And she still doesn't have her luggage, and they cannot track it. I said, honey, you made that girl mad at the airport. And honey, she took Shamia's luggage home, honey. She was like, I don't know what's in it. Probably can't fit none of her clothes, but I'm sure gonna take this Louis Vuitton home. They probably do that all the time, and Shamia needs to be a bit more concerned about that and get ahead of it. Because I would be on the phone calling, like, putting in a claim. Where is my luggage? So, uh, this day, they're going to split up into 2 groups. Shamia, Portia, Phaedra, and Cynthia are going to go to the waterfalls. And the rest, it's like the OGs are going to the waterfall, and the newbies are going to go. They're going to go with Kelly and have a cooking class. So Phaedra tells Kelly she's little and so loud. So in Kelly's confessional, she's whispering, we are going to go to the waterfalls. And then Phaedra is coming too. No, Phaedra is going to go with Shamia, Portia, and Cynthia to the waterfalls while we all go to cooking. And then she said, girl, be quiet. Leave me alone. So Shamia explains, well, they asked, did the crystals work last night? So Shamia explains to Britt that when she had the crystal, she turned the conversation onto Phaedra and Apollo and his wife, and they wouldn't even own that. And I said that last week, like, she just came out the blue with that. They wasn't even talking about that old raggedy event no more. And so, I guess she's grabbing a moment, making it about her. And please don't get them ladies started on that event, Britt. Don't get me started on that event, Britt. Please don't, because everybody is suing you. And I don't know if you guys, if I told you, if you heard another video, but the country club is suing them for over $10,000 because allegedly she did not book that room. That's why the party planner didn't have anything set and ready. They're suing her too for like $1,400-$1,500. And I think the caterer was suing her too. So it's a thing. It's just a thing. And what I do know, what I can see, child, do y'all know on the internet, the people are calling Britt, her nickname is Brokey. They are calling her broke. And I had put it, here's my post-it. I don't know if you heard my video about Britt 3 days ago, but I had a post-it that I wrote last week after I did my recap on Housewives of Atlanta last week. And it says, Britt is giving, I ain't coming back next season. And she is still giving that energy. She's, we'll get to that soon, but that's the energy that I'm getting from Britt. She's kind of withdrawing herself, creating enemies. And just like Phaedra said, she's putting her own self in the hot seat. Child, Kenya is gone. So what is the smoke for? You shouldn't have any smoke. It's like Brittany. I'd be wanting to call her by her whole name. And I hope that's her name. Britt just has this residue from the Kenya thing. And everybody else has to suffer. I don't think that's fair. And that might be where her passiveness is coming from. Okay. So Cynthia says, she just wish everyone would stop talking over each other so everyone can be heard. Honey, Auntie want to know what's going on. She can't hear all y'all like me when y'all just be. It's like, wait, what is going on? Who said what? Say what? Start over. Say what? Who you mad at? Why you say that? It is like, what? So Shamia is like, who is black? Just who is black? So Drew said in her confessional, she noticing that Shamia and Britt got a little snippiness going on with each other. And so Portia noticed it too. Honey, so on the van, well, I guess Drew didn't even answer the question. So on the van, Shamia says Britt is always so defensive. And she tells us that that she brought along, she brought those 3 paper towel rolls with her, but I believe it was toilet paper. And so Shamia says, you can't come in a Rolls Royce and a Birkin, you know what I'm saying? And you gonna bring 3 rolls of toilet paper with you. And then she lets us know that Britt cash apped her $250. So then Phaedra's in the back seat talking about, well, no one should donate less than 1,000. Well, I take that back, Phaedra. You didn't say 1,000 each. You said no less than. So I take that back, girl. But let's go ahead and raise the bar. No less than 5,000 maybe. I think 5,000 is good for you rich women. Uh-huh. Phaedra says, we spend $250 on our nails. So no, let's not do that. Portia is telling Shamia that Drew should apologize for that lapdog comment because it's making her feel like she's below Portia and she's not. Shamia shares how no one knows who Drew is. Who? She'd rather be a lapdog. She said when she talks about it, people ask her, like, Drew who? Who is Drew? Who? So she said, I'd rather be a lapdog than forgettable. I know that's right. They be like, Drew who? Nancy Drew? Drew Hill? Drew who? So in the van with Drew, Kelly, Britt, and Angela, they agreed that Phaedra is a vibe. They like, she's dope. She is. She's so nice. Okay, y'all. Phaedra says Charles was always the life of the party, honey, back in the day when she used to be in them streets. She said it was like 10 years ago, and she really did not know that Charles was married. And so production asked Drew, like, what do you think about Angela and Charles's marriage? And so Drew is like, they're legendary. I see nothing. I don't know nothing. I ain't heard nothing. She said, don't be trying to get me in no mess. Angela is my friend. So the ladies get to the beautiful waterfalls. I mean, there's monkeys and just insects and lizards and water and beautiful greenery. And the other lady, and they're out there, taking pictures. Portia got her butt all, ooh, child. You could sit a cup on her butt. Portia, she looks good though. Should be over there talking about how she is secure because she got on a 2-piece and her body ain't 2-piece ready. You are reaching, because was there nothing wrong with that bathing suit, honey? So the other ladies, they get to their property and they are learning how to cook some Grenadian food, some dishes. They are presented with cocktails, and the rum is by a black owned company. They're outside, and the men are fine, honey. Uh-huh. Drew is liking one of them real bad, real bad. She's like, ooh, let me hurry up and get divorced. Britt says this trip has been refreshing after having so much friction with Drew and Angela. And the other ladies think, it's weird that Britt brought up Apollo. Because Phaedra wasn't even invited to the event. Apollo and his wife didn't even come. So why did you bring it up? How would it get back? Okay. And then she put it on her husband. Well, Mike knows him. I don't, and Mike invited him. It's like, girl, yeah, really, Britt? So whatever. Portia says that Britt says she don't feel supported by those women. And Portia's like, well, girl, we don't know you yet. It's like, we don't, who are you? Yeah, I don't know. So Kelly asked Drew, who is black? She picks up a napkin, a black napkin, and somebody told her, that napkin is purple. And she's like, who is black? Is there any flirting, any dealing going on with him? And so Drew said, flirting, yes, but we are just friends, honey. Don't get it twisted. I keep telling y'all. She said, if I want to find love, don't get it twisted. So I will let y'all know. And she said, is that a hill behind you or is that a mountaintop? Because whatever it is, I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to scream it from up top that I found love again. They're like, okay. She said, but for now, I am going through a divorce. Leave Drew alone. Leave her alone. Worry about yourself, okay? I'm sick of it. So on the way back to the villa, Shamia and Portia chatting in the van having a good time. And Shamia's like, I got my best friend back. They just singing and rapping and just fool our line and just loving on each other. It's a sight to see. It is a sight to see. So they get back to their villas because they have to get ready for dinner and they are going to meet the prime minister. He's going to come stop by for a visit, honey. So Shamia ends up having to borrow a pretty yellow dress from Portia, her best friend. And Angela goes in her room to call Charles again. So she finally got Charles on the phone. And so he ain't giving her no love. He just like, hi, how you doing? I miss you. It's our anniversary. Mm-hmm. He is such a dud. But I'm here for it. He's funny. So he just seems like he's being petty. I swear, I keep telling y'all, I really think his friends have given him a hard time for being on the show. He don't want to be on the show, and he just lets it be known. And if he does act like that, then she's used to it. They get along. It's fine. But it's a lot of people that don't like how Charles treats Angela, but I think they just don't understand the dynamic. Like, whatever. He has a big ego, I'm sure. He just doesn't mind being a butthole. He's just a butthole. He just an old grumpy man, He just a grump. So he being petty, but he does wish her well, like have fun. And she said, leave me with something. Leave me with something. He like, don't get into no scuffle with no one. She like, okay, boo. So in the kitchen, child, it is shot o'clock, says Shamia, honey. And she's shading Britt about not wanting any shots. And this is what I don't like about Shamia. She'll say stuff and then act like she ain't talking to you. Girl, shut up. And I like that Britt called her out on it. And Shamia, don't you ever put me in a position to have to defend Britt. Britt feels like, Shamia's being passive aggressive, talking about, if you don't want no shot, don't drink no shots then. Okay, girl, calm down. So the ladies look gorgeous and they head out for dinner. They're going to meet the prime minister. Kelly tells them that the house that they cooked at was affected by the hurricane, and she thanked all the ladies for their donations. Here we go. I could just tell that this is gonna go left when it should go right. Cause what kind of giver does God like? A cheerful giver. Portia let it be known that she donated $1,000. Okay. Was that before or after Phaedra told you that was the amount that you should give? Nothing below it. To me, that's lowbrow. To me, that's lowbrow. Shamia says this is when you do your big one. Like this is when you do your big one. You can't pull up in a Rolls Royce and with a Birkin and not give. So Britt says, well, that was a little shade. And I was like, because what, besties? A hit dog will what? Holla. Woof, woof, woof. She was like, I drive. Oh, let me get my Brit together. And so no, Shamia's like, well, I drive a Rolls Royce. She drives a Rolls Royce. If I was throwing shade, you would know it. And I'm like, Shamia, shut up, lying. You did just throw shade, and we all know it. Everyone knows. Why are you backpedaling? You called her out. Rolls Royce Birkin. All you have to say was, and wear shorts with cowboy boots and lie and say that there's a truck coming with more stuff. And oh, by the way, Kelly let it be known on the after show, baby, that other donation pull up that Brit said was coming, yeah, it never came. Uh huh. So here go Brit. You're being passive aggressive. She says she knew something was off. First, it was the shot situation. I said, no, 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 Britt. Let's go back, honey. Let's go back. Let's rewind the tape. See, this is a prime example of when people want to tell a story in the middle of the story. No, Britt, let's go back, honey. Rewind the tape. The static, if I can say that, it started with you at her birthday party, you know, talking crap about your wedding ring and how big it is, and you got married, which was not a big deal, but it was just you're not likable. So it was Kenya. How about that? How about the pow 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 conversation and the whips and the chains, and then it was Kenya's event about the photos with that piece of anatomy in your mouth. You know, that hideous event you just had where you didn't feed nobody, and when you're out on a golf course with heels on. That's why the country club is suing you. They don't want you wearing heels on their greenery. You are supposed to be in just regular shoes. Those heels is tearing up that grass, and that's why they're suing you. You don't even know. You didn't even know what you were doing, trying to act like you about that life. Your outfit was wrong. The shoes were wrong, and that's why they suing you. So I think it was those things. And then it is the 3 toilet paper rolls and the $250 donation. So let's start back from we first met you, honey. So Kelly butts in like she always does, and she feels like Britt is just unaware of how much to give. And I was like, oh, like Drew at your ball main event, how you said she didn't donate, but then she said she donated and bought a $2,000 blazer. Yeah, Drew, where is the blazer? Uh-huh. So we find out in the after show, Kelly said Drew donated a lot. She was the first to donate, and Kelly and Shamia said she came back and with more donation, with more to give. She did good. What was that? Shamia says she did her big one. um, no, and so Shamia says no. She says she was that girl because Kelly's thing is if you're gonna be that girl, then be that girl. And I'm like, this is how you talk to your best friend? Yeah, it's giving loud, loud best friend, very loud and very rich of you, very rich. And I'm just like, Kelly, as a best friend, like, she's becoming Shamia's lapdog and she's flip flopping with Britt because nobody really likes Britt. And Kelly's trying to be liked and she need her check. So she clocking in and doing what she got to do. But at the same time, Kelly, why are you not advising your best friend on how to donate? Because this donations thing was your idea. This trip to Grenada was your idea. Uh-huh. It was your idea. Britt is your best friend. Yeah. Why did Shamia have to take her out to dinner to explain things? And we'll get to that. Britt, you just didn't show up. I guess she can donate more after she sues the network. After she get done with Bravo and NBC, maybe she'll have a coin because y'all know she's trying to sue for $20 million. So once she gets her $18, maybe she can donate some more. But that's nor here nor there. So this Brit to Shamia. Didn't you say donate whatever you feel? And see what I'm saying? So Shamia's like, girl, calm down. No, answer the question. Did you tell her to donate whatever you feel? And I feel like, Britt, you kind of need to learn how to read these girls. Don't keep rambling. Stand on business and ask that broad again. Didn't you say I can donate whatever I felt? I'm poor. I'm perpetrating a fraud. Y'all remember the episode where she was trying to act like her and Mike was going to buy her a new car? Britt is broke. They call her Brokey in these YouTube streets. She is perpetrating a fraud. That girl is broke. Broke. So Shami was like, girl, calm down. So they had a back and forth and back again. And so Shamia gonna say, God loves a cheerful giver. Then let that be that, Shamia, and let it go. Why are you even putting her on blast about the donating thing? And that's what I don't like. We'll get to that. So Shamia says, I talk to you in your face. You're being aggressive. Britt says you're being very passive aggressive, and she is. Shamia, you was very passive aggressive. Shamia tells us that she took Britt to Houston's to talk about how to donate and all that. It says Britt missed the mark. So why is it that you choose to pull her to the side in private, off camera, to talk about this? Uh-huh. Well, what did Britt have to say? We didn't get into that. What did Britt have to say? And she didn't address it on the after show. I like how you telling her what to do, but what did she say? What did she say? Why was that all she could donate? Because she didn't give any more money after y'all talked. So what did Britt say? Okay, you take her out in private, but then you put her on blast in the van on the way to the waterfalls. Then you get to the table with everybody, and you had to just put her out on blast without saying her name. But you was very condescending and very passive aggressive. Very. And Shamia, that's why the fans don't really like you. Britt says, does anyone else have anything to say to me? Because you better say it to my face while I'm right here. I'm not playing with none of you broads. So Portia said, so you said you don't feel supported. How do I go to the next level? We don't text or talk or anything. And you're not even open to it, Britt. Britt was like, are you asking or saying? Portia's like, Britt, talk in a friendly tone. I love that. And Britt, if you know anything about Portia, she's warning you. Okay? Don't let that Decatur come out on you because Portia like to nuck if you buck. Okay? Britt, you haven't even saved my number. You asked me, who is this? So they show us the text from the Sweet 16 Housewives thread with all of them in it. And it shows that Portia does not have Britt's number saved. And when she be talking to Portia be like, "Who is this?" And so she was like, "Ah, da, 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 da." And they just got a lot of going back and forth to back. And they just going back and forth to back and back again. And honey, Phaedra did not miss one bite of her food, honey. She's sitting in between them or sitting next to Britt. And honey, she is still eating peacefully. Okay. So here go Britt. "You gotta let me finish, baby." Portia said, "No, no, no, don't do that. Don't baby me. Uh-uh. I was just asking who was in the chat." "There's 3 new people. You cut me off, Portia." "I haven't said nothing that you haven't jumped in the middle of." "How do you speak on how I feel? How you gotta speak on how I feel?" "You made a point of reference. Do you know what that means?" "You cut me off, Portia." "You cut me off." Cynthia got the crystal, y'all. She got it in her hand and she waved it in the air like she just don't care. And honey, here comes the handsome prime minister, honey. He greets the ladies. He says he just stopped by to say hi. You know, he asked them how are they enjoying themselves. They are having a good time. They all taking a liking to him because he is true eye candy. And they ask him to stay. He says he'll have one drink, and I think he had a mojito. And one of them said, "Honey, he is swagged out." I think it was Drew because Drew was liking him. She's like, "He is swagged out." So they asked him, "How many kids you got?" He was like, "2." "Well, how old are they?" And he said 17. And then everybody's like, "You look 17. You look 17. Oh my goodness." And so I think Cynthia was asking him, "Have you ever been to Atlanta?" He was like, "No." He says, "So when is the best time to come?" Everybody's like, "Anytime." So production asked all the ladies who would make the best first lady because it's assumed that Mr. Eye Candy, Prime Minister, is single because he's not wearing a ring. And the production wants to know who would make the best first lady and why. Well, Drew says her. Phaedra says, "Nah, Drewzilla, not Drewzilla." She said, "Because you gotta look the part, honey, and you be wearing them Timu outfits, honey. You can't do that. The constituents ain't gonna appreciate that." They all pretty much say Portia will make the best first lady because she loves foreigners. She loves anybody who's not from America. And then Angela votes for Kelly. And Kelly's like, "Yup." So they checked out of that they checked out that the prime minister was not wearing a ring. And then Angela says, "Well, Charles doesn't wear one either." And she said, "I don't like it, and I'm gonna bring this up in our next therapy session because I gotta figure out what's wrong with him." Child, Portia had me cracking up. She says in her confessional, does Angela have Tourette's? Because why she be hollering out her business like that out of nowhere? Do she have Tourette's? Portia, why she gotta have Tourette's, child? Where does that even come from? Okay. So Phaedra says that all marriages are hard because men are crazy, but the women love the ding dong. Okay. Don't y'all love how I changed the name of it? I just don't give it one name. It's a pole once, it's a wee wee, third leg. It's a DICK. I'm gonna call it Richard. So then they celebrate Angela's anniversary, and in the after show, Cynthia took all the credit for that. Angela saw the cake coming and was like, "Whose birthday is it?" There's like, "It's your anniversary. Happy anniversary." She starts to cry because she said, "I guess the women felt that my vibe is low because I'm not with my husband." Girl, okay. And I'm just still like, why did they have to do this trip right now? Because remember, Kelly is not home with her kids missing their first day of school. Angela is missing her anniversary. It's just too much. It's too much. So Portia Williams is like, why don't he wear his ring? This is giving craziness because she's here, he don't wear his ring, and then there's a phantom baby. It's a lot going on in that marriage. And I'm here to tell you, Portia, please stop with the mess. Stop. You will take it. Portia is good at creating her own narratives. Portia, 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 Portia. For the umpteenth time, I don't know exactly where you've been, but it has already been stated that Angela was not talking about Charles was the one who had an outside baby on her. It was her first daughter's father that stepped out on her. Okay, are we clear? Charles Oakley does not, excuse me, does not have an outside baby. Worry about yourself. Worry about Simon. Worry about PJ and that college fund. Just kidding. Worry about Dennis. Okay. So as they leave, Britt gets back to what she want to talk about with Portia. Well, Portia, you said, why don't I invite people over? I never got to finish. We gonna talk about it? Portia, like, girl, I just wanted to figure out how to support you, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay, girl. So they get in separate vans. Britt says pretty much like none of them are inviting each other over. I don't want to. You didn't invite me to your house. You haven't invited me to your house. Portia doesn't invite me to her house, and I don't invite nobody to my house. And we don't invite each other because we don't invite each other. Then she says, "I really don't even know Portia." And so Phaedra tells her, like, you put yourself in the seat to be an enemy. You need to show up as a friend. You need to show up friendly. And so Britt was like, be more fake, you mean? Phaedra said, no. Invite people over, get your charcuterie board, get your champagne ready, and have some company because you all need to be friends. You need all the friends you can muster up, is what Phaedra said. Angela's like, oh girl, that was good. When is the book coming out? Child, then Shamia's husband calls. Shiloh is very sick. She has a fever. She's in the bedroom freezing with no pajamas on. Her immune system is compromised. He wants to get rid of the nanny. He tells Shamia, call the agency, get somebody else. He says, if this continues, he's going to take Shiloh to the hospital the next morning. This baby has so many health issues. Shamia ran them all down, and I ain't never heard of none of it except for something about the heart has a hole in it, and it's just so sad. And I do know, Shamia needs balance. It's just easy to say, oh, did y'all hear what Britt said? Honey, allegedly, honey, Britt and Shamia funking because Britt said something like Shamia needs to stay at home with her daughter more. So they not talking to Britt, and that's good. So, yeah, I know she has to balance. I know she has to live and she has to travel and have fun and stuff. And it's easy to say, but thank God she's married, and it seems like Gerald is a great husband. Who I'm sure they talked about all this before they signed up for the show because remember, they've been wanting Shamia on this show since season, what did they say? 3, 5? Not 3, but more like 5 or 6. And Gerald has been saying no. So, if she don't come back, you know, uh, okay, she'll just be replaced with Mia from Potomac. And did you guys hear my video that Monique Samuels is coming back to the Housewives of Potomac for season 10? Yes. Oh, and let you guys know, since I'm off topic, the Real Housewives of Orange County will start back July 10th. So look for that. Okay. So Shamia is feeling like a failure as a mom. And it's like, oh, I hate this for her. She's pulling at my heartstrings. She's crying. I didn't cry. Thank God Portia is sitting there rubbing her thigh, being there for her, being the best friend. So Kelly calls the ladies in the other van just to let them know, like, We're going to stop all this foolishness. And when we get back, we're going to be there for Shamia. We're going to shut it on down and be chill. Put on your best behavior and act like civilized people, right? So they get there, they're all quiet. You know how you just quiet, everybody got their pajamas on, the robes on, they just looking. And they looking at her. She like, why is it so quiet? And they're like, well, do you want to pray? And so Shamia loses it. She breaks down. Shamia, her head is in Portia's bosom. Somebody mentioned it and they all start laughing. Britt says Britt just comes out the woodworks with, I got your back. I love you, Shamia, no matter what. We are a sisterhood. I'm sorry. I love you, girl. I will always be there for you. I will always be your friend. Heck, I'll even take a shot of tequila too. Pour me a double. Then Shamia goes into the kitchen because she's going to get the champagne. She said, I'm going to go make some champagne. How do you make champagne, Britt? But baby, she goes in the kitchen. I didn't see no bottles, no glasses. She goes in and plops her breast onto the kitchen counter. And she's shaking and twisting and she's in her element, right? Kenya was right. That was her in them pictures. She trying to sue Bravo, talking about defamation of character. How you gonna say that wasn't you? But look at you right now. And you're older and you're married. Look at you. Drew over there talking about what in the Magic City is going on. Shamia's like, what are we doing? Should I call and get permission? And Phaedra had to do the last, like, oh my goodness, this lady, all she do is put them things out. Because that's her roommate. And she already started the episode off talking about this girl don't wear no bra, no panties, and she love to be out. And so Phaedra said, at least her body looks good. Yeah, because it's fake. Whew. And that was the end of the episode, besties. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you thought about this week's episode. Please tell me what you rated, what you think, honey. Like, what do you think about Shamia and the donations thing? What do you think about that? What do you think about Portia and Britt's little tit for tat? They little back and forth. Like, what is going on? At least, honey, they left Drew alone. They just want to know who Black is. They left her alone. But now they looking at Miss Britt. But is Britt sabotaging herself? Well, you let me know down in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Like this video. Press the like. Press the like. Press it. Press it. You're here. You're having fun. You're enjoying. If I made you laugh, hit the like button and make sure your notification bell is on so that you know each and every time I post my content. And I'll be back with another recap. It will be Basketball Wives Besties tomorrow. Oh, and let me ask you guys, did you guys see Straw on Netflix? It's a Tyler Perry movie, but it's a great movie, even though it's Tyler Perry. I'm thinking about reviewing it, but I'm not sure because, I'm not sure how I feel about Tyler. I be trying to leave his movies alone, but this one was really good because Taraji played the heck out of it. Sherry Shepherd, Tiana Taylor is in it. Rockman Dunbar. Is that his name? Yeah, is in it. I went to junior high school with Rockman. He's from Oakland, and we went to junior high school together. If I believe correctly, he's a year younger than me, and he went to Oakland Tech, and I went to Oakland High. But anyway, you ain't here for all that. The recap is over. Bye, bestie.